So just I have already created this blood spill layer already, but then I had an issue and then my recording was not being recorded. So let me just break this down and kind of show you guys how I did it. So it's like a fill layer. So this is like the settings for this fill layer. Okay, setting I used. And then I added a grunge material for the added fill layer on the max. So I'm using the grunge leaks for it instead. Okay, you know what? Let me just recreate this. So create a new fill layer. Let me just drag this up and show you guys everything I did. So I'm going to change the color to something more of like a dark red, more of like a darker red tone to it. Then it should be completely reflective, more like liquid. Then a bit of metallic nature to it, and then I'm just going to increase the height just a bit more, just a tiny bit. Adding a black mask, I'll create a new fill layer. Sorry, I'll add a new fill layer to that mask. Then on the grunges, I'll just type leaks. And I think this is the one I used. I'll just drag this. Yeah, that's the one I used. I'll just drag. Let me just check. Let me just confirm if that's the one I used. Okay, yeah, that's the one I used. Grunt leaks. Okay. Okay. Okay, UV mapping scale at 3. UV tiling scale at 3. Then on the fill layer, I'm just going to drag this inside this grayscale. So just drag this in here. Okay, that's fine. Now increase the contrast just to sharpen the edge, just to make the edge a bit more sharper. Something like so. Maybe we'll increase the balance. Okay, let's change the scale to 3 first. Okay, something like this. Right. Then I will just increase this a bit more. Let me just take this down rather, just to sharpen it. So I'm just going to darken this a bit more. Somewhere around there should be fine. Some of these adjustments I'm making might still need to come back here and still correct them again if they don't render out properly inside of Momoset 2 bag or Anode. So there's no problem about that though. We can always modify this. So for this now, you see how let me just rename this to blood spill. Okay. So let's see. So I'm going to group that, Control G to group that, because I want to I don't want this to be affecting the undo. I don't want it to be affecting this part. So I want to kind of max out all those parts and just make it reveal itself more at the bottom part, or more at the top rather. So I'm going to add the black marks on that group layer, on that group rather. Then I'm going to use a smart max for this. For the smart max, I'll just type in ground. Just type in ground and just drag this ground depth in there. Okay, that's fine. So now I will need to invert this. You can see how it's affecting the bottom parts. So let me just turn off the first layer. And I'll just go to this smart max settings or property, and I'll invert that. I will invert the global scale. That should be affecting it at the bottom part now. So I'll hit C on the keyboard to go to the max channel. So I can actually focus on that max itself. Then I can play with the settings with global balance. Let's see. Okay, tighten that up. Global contrast. Let me see. Let me just take this down. Let's see what that gives us. Okay, much better. Kind of blow it, making it look more faded. Okay, this seems fine. This seems fine. Okay, let's see. Let me just name this to blood spill, just to keep things organized. All right, let's see. So I'll copy that group. Let me paste that same group in here for the pokers also. Let me just paste this on top of everything. This feels a bit much though. Let me kind of take this down. Okay. Okay. Just thinking maybe let me add another new fill layer on top of that. Then I'm going to type in leaks here also. I'm going to be using a different type. Let's try this one. Let's plug this in. Yeah, this looks fine. I don't want this to be too crazy. I don't want it to be all over the place. No, that's way too much. Something like this. I think I'll just use this one instead. I'll just plug this in here. Yeah, something like this should be fine. I think I can live with this. Something like this looks fine. Okay. So I'll just increase the height a bit more just to make it look like more so I'll just make it have more depth to it. To the positive side though. Not digging into the mesh but outward. Let me turn on the shadow and I'm kind of check and analyze this. This looks fine. Okay. Yeah, that looks fine. I think I'm still going to add the nail on top of this. I think I'm going to use this for the nails also. Let me select that texture set. Kind of loading up. And give this a sec. So let me just copy that one from the bat itself and turn this on. So I'll just copy that folder or the group folder rather, and I'll just paste this on the nail at the top of the nail. So we should apply it to some part of the nail now. That looks fine. Okay. It feels more reddish though. Maybe I might still have to darken this later on. But it's completely up to you. Though. It's completely up to you. Let me darken this now. Just a bit like so. Something like this should be fine. Okay. So darkening this more so it doesn't feel like red paint. The blood is a bit darker a bit darker in nature than it is in some movies where it does feel like the blood look like tomato paste. So I think this is fine. I think I can just export this out in a different group. So I'm going to re-export all these maps out into a different folder. So the settings still the same though. Everything is still the same, but just the folder. I'm going to be changing the folder. Where I'll be putting this. Okay. In here is fine. Okay, that's fine. Alright. Every other setting is still fine. So this is fine. So I'll see you guys in the next lesson.